Achtung! Achtung! He escaped Germany, hid out in Argentina, and now has moved to America, where he finally feels at home. Here's America's favorite Nazi, Hans Himmler.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente with Hans Himmler for a Nazi's Take on the News. Hello there, Hans.
Guten Tag, Herr Celente, and we got some interesting Nazi news today from New York, the place where I now live.
Yeah, you like it up here in New York?
Well, I like it up here in the country, but it is a little bit too quiet. Better in the city, because more stuff going on in the city.
Well, there was some stuff going on a little while ago in this city that kind of made the news, but not the big news. They had this Occupy Wall Street movement going on. It was launched by Adbusters magazine. And they expected to get tens of thousands of people, kind of like picking up from the riots that happened or the demonstrations that began in Tunisia and then in Egypt and then in Bahrain, in Yemen, and all throughout Europe and even Israel, where hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets in protest of the favoritism that the government is showing to the people at the top who have all the money and the rest of the people who aren't getting anything or barely making ends meet. So this was an anti-Wall Street demonstration against the corporations, but it didn't turn out that big. But even at the small level that it did happen, boy, the cops stopped it from happening in its tracks. First of all, they couldn't get close to Wall Street. They had them in the peripheral areas. But what the cops did, for example, they started arresting people using an 1850s law. The kids that were wearing bandanas or masks, locking them up.
Oh, well, it is an 1850 law. Doesn't matter if it is a 1050 law or a 550 law. The law is the law. And when it says no masks, well, a bandana, that is not a mask. But you can say, if you put the bandana over your whole face, then it becomes a mask, and it is against the law, and so they should be arrested, which they were.
But look what the cops did. I mean, they corralled these people. I mean, look at these kids. They corralled them with these orange nets, and there weren't that many of them. And then some lunatic walks in there and starts throwing pepper spray on these kids. I mean, they weren't doing anything. And you know how I say when I'm asked by the media, well, we have demonstrations in the United States like they have over in Europe and we've seen over in the Middle East. I say no. This isn't a country of mommy's boys. It's a country of soccer mommy's boys. I mean, these kids have good intentions, but boy, they don't have the willpower nor the staying power. And it's almost impossible in the United States to demonstrate. They're not only breaking up demonstrations here, they were breaking them up down in Washington a couple of weeks ago. And the only reason they made the media was because some actress got arrested for protesting the oil pipeline that they're going to be bringing down into Canada to get the oil out of those tar sands. So in the U.S., you don't have an opportunity to protest. They call this the land of the free. I say, Hans, it's just like Nazi Germany, the way these cops brutalize people that try to demonstrate. They become nothing more in this country, a lot of them, than enforcers for the corporate crime bosses and the government bosses.
Well, that is what they always did. It just now you got the Twitter on the tweet, on the iPhones, on all of those little instruments that can catch the cops doing what they always did do. So it is only that it is now more transparent, and also the reason why the demonstrations here are not like Greece or not like Ireland or not like Italy and all of those places is basically because the Americans are too fat to protest. And you can only fit some of them, not many, in a little street like Wall Street, very narrow street. How they are supposed to get there and protest and do anything? So that is why it is not only because the Americans are too stupid and lazy. That is a part of it. And they sit there and they take all of this stuff, what the corporations hand out to them. This is true, but this is a good sign because pretty soon, as I have said on many occasions, that when the Nazis, when we take over all of America, we will bring freedom to America, but a different kind of freedom than what they think is freedom. They will be free to obey orders. And that is what the police are. The police are coming down on them now to make sure that they are free to obey orders, and that is what they do, obey orders.
You know what New York's finest did to these people? They weren't even allowed to use bullhorns. They had their tarps. You know, they were camping out in the park, and they took the tarps down so they weren't allowed to be tied to trees. Where are these tough cops? Where are they bringing down the real Wall Street criminals? What do they have? Orders, hands off? Only crush the little people? Oh, these big tough guys. And they're not all fat people. There are some little young people over there that aren't overweight, that have the passion to do this, but they're breaking them down before it even happens.
Yeah, well, of course they are doing this because Wall Street must be protected. This is very clear. I mean, it is Wall Street that ultimately pays the salaries for the cops. These kids, they don't pay taxes, so where does the money come to pay the cops? The money comes from, well, Wall Street, they don't pay any taxes either, but it comes from the people. And one way or another, Wall Street must be protected. This is the most important thing in American democracy, which is very like Nazi Germany, because that is what we did too. We protected the corporations.
You know, who made up this stuff that the banks and the corporations had to be protected? Who made this up? Let the banks fail. Let Wall Street fail. Let these people protest. Let their voices be heard.
Yeah, well, I think that is not very intelligent or thought out from you, Herr Celente, because if you read the New York Times or any of the other papers, The Economist, what we read all the times on Financial Times, and you listen to the experts, the economists, all of these financial people, they say and they know that the banks must be saved first and foremost, the financial institutions. You can't let them fail because, well, if they failed, well, they would fail, they would go out of business, and we can't have that.
Well, somebody else would take in their business. They don't have to, you know, it's not, you know, there are other people that could step in if the big guys fail. But listen, even these cops, the kind of things that they were doing in stopping these demonstrations, they have surveillance cameras everywhere. They were watching every movement that these kids are making. But you know, you try to film a cop, boy, do they get tight about it. Oh no, only they could film, only they could watch these wonderful men in blue, and your big sis over there who you have a crush on, and I'm saying that in public, that you have a crush on big sis, right, and that anything she does is okay. They could film us all day long, but we're not allowed to watch them. They can watch us, but we can't watch them. Just like Nazi Germany.
Well, exactly. Why do you think I come here? And besides, Big Sis, yes, I got a crush on Big Sis, but I also got a crush on Hitler. I really got, she is my favorite woman. But with Big Sis, actually, we didn't say this when we had the programs the other day, that she is instituting a change in the scanners that now no longer show your nude body, but they make it into a stick figure. And this is a big improvement for Big Sis.
Yeah, she'd look okay as a stick figure.
Oh, much better as a stick figure, like a model.
Yeah. Anyway, you heard it right here. He likes it here because the way the cops and the way the government are treating the people reminds Hans just like it used to be at home. This is Gerald Celente with Hans Himmler for a Nazi's Take on the News.
Hey, Obama!
Comfort, yes, comfort my people, says your God, for she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sin.
Heil Hitler und Big Sis!